will, okay, so I think that will be difficult for you, okay, because English is a language that you are going to need a lot in your future, so it is better to equip yourself with the best possible means. That means we have to be at least passably good in all the skills. যেটা আমরা করে আসি কি, আমাদের রিডিংটা মোটামুটি ভালো, রাইটিংটা মোটামুটি ভালো, বাট there is a lot of lacking in our speaking and listening.
Listen.
এবং আমি কিন্তু এই জিনিসটা বারবার বলেছি যে I don't care how much you practice reading and writing, you will see that your listening or speaking is not really that much affected. But if you practice listening and speaking, you will see the results in your reading and writing, that how good you will become in reading and writing just by practicing listening and speaking. So if you start it in the right way, focus in learning. The most important thing is intake, because the amount we intake and the amount we output in language is very asymmetrical. আমরা কিন্তু অনেক শুনি, আমরা সারাদিন কথা শুনতে থাকি, কিন্তু কতক্ষণ কথা বলি? 1 ঘন্টা, 2 ঘন্টা, 3 ঘন্টা, কিন্তু সারাদিন কিন্তু আমরা কথা শুনতে থাকি। So our listening never stops. If you are trying to develop your English and you, আমাদের কি থাকে যে আমরা বলি যে ঠিক আছে রিডিং রাইটিং তো পারি, স্পিকিংটা ভালো করে ডেভেলপ করলেই হবে, কিন্তু স্পিকিং শুধু ডেভেলপ করলে হবে না, বিকজ স্পিকিং ইজ আউটপুট। তো আপনার যদি যথেষ্ট পরিমাণ ইনপুট না থাকে, আপনার আউটপুট কোত্থেকে আসবে, তাই না?
Yes,
দ্যাটস ওয়াই লিসেনিং ইজ ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট। এবং আমি ক্লাসে লিসেনিং পড়ানো শেষ করে দিব তার মানে এই না যে এক্সামের আগ পর্যন্ত অ্যাটলিস্ট নিজেরা বাসায় বসে বসে প্র্যাকটিস করতে হবে। ইলোতে 1,500-এর উপরে অডিও ক্লিপ আছে, and if you really want to practice the IELTS exam, IELTS material, there are thousands of clips in internet. তারপরেও যদি if you feel that no miss I want to practice more, আমি আরো ওয়েবসাইট আপনার খুঁজে দিব, কোনো সমস্যা নাই, but don't stop practicing at least till the exam. এবং এক্সাম কিন্তু মিড সেমিস্টার পার হওয়ার পরে হবে, এর আগে নেওয়া যাবে না। ওকে, মোটামুটি অর্ধেক সেমিস্টার হলে আমি এক্সাম শিডিউল, প্র্যাকটিক্যাল এক্সাম গুলো শিডিউল করতে পারবো, এর আগে কিন্তু সেটা সম্ভব হবে না। সো আমাদের কিন্তু সেমিস্টার শুরু হয়েছে, খুব বেশি দিন হয় নাই, মেবি আরো 2 মাস নিজে নিজে প্র্যাকটিস করতে হবে, because I can only focus on listening. I have lots of other materials in the syllabus that we need to cover. আমরা কিন্তু গ্রামার পার্ট এখনো ধরিনি, আর রাইটিংও শেষ করতে পারিনি। রাইটিং এর কি অবস্থা হবে বুঝতে পারছি না, বিকজ আই ডোন্ট থিংক আই ক্যান টিচ ইউ রাইটিং আনলেস উই আর ইন এ ফেস টু ফেস ক্লাসরুম। ওকে, প্র্যাকটিসটা তো তোমরা সাথে সাথে ক্লাসে প্র্যাকটিস করে যে আমাকে চেক করাও, এই জিনিসটা হচ্ছে না। আমরা যেটা অনলাইনে করতে পারবো যে হ্যাঁ আমরা আমাদের গ্রামার পার্ট গুলো পড়ে নিতে পারবো, আমরা রিডিং ও কিছু প্র্যাকটিস করতে পারবো। ওকে, so because of the situation right now all the skills are jumbled up, but we will try to be on right track. আমাদের টাইম মতো সিলেবাসটা শেষ করতে হবে, and seeing how the situation is, I think it is better we prepare early. আমাদের সিলেবাসটা শেষ হয়ে গেলে যত দ্রুত সম্ভব আমরা প্র্যাকটিস করব। ওকে, so let's practice one from ILO. Share the screen. And while listening, if you're having any problem with the sound, let me know. Okay, so this one was like, let's try one from intermediate lessons. Okay, I think we can easily understand the basic one. Okay, well, this one is, oh, both the speakers are from America. Okay, let's see at this one. Oh, this one is too big, it will take lots of time. Let us find something a little smaller. Mm, okay, this one is a little smaller. Okay, ready to hear?
Yes.
So,
Now.
Sarah, we're both English teachers,
Mm-hmm.
and we taught together before,
Mm-hmm.
and then you went away and you worked for the U.S. State Department,
Yes.
and you came back, and
Mhm.
now I want to work for the U.S. State Department.
You should do it.
So I want you to give me some advice, what I should do and what I shouldn't do to get the
Mm-hmm.
job, and what do I need to do so I can work for the U.S. State Department.
Mm-hmm.
So what should I do?
So the first thing you should do is to start doing the paperwork. There's so much paperwork and it can be overwhelming. So you shouldn't try to do everything in one day and you shouldn't leave it to the last minute. So please start the paperwork soon.
Okay, so how long does it take to do the paperwork?
It takes a couple of weeks because you need to write some very long answers to many different questions, and because you need to ask references to write these long, long answers for you.
Okay, so like who should I ask to be a reference?
You should ask two people who have experience with your teaching. So for me, I asked the head of the language department and a coworker who had observed my class. So you should ask perhaps the level coordinator. You should ask your boss, your manager, and then maybe a coworker who has seen your teaching.
Okay, so could I ask you?
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
So you said there's some questions. Like what's a sample question?
A lot of the questions are about how do you deal with cultural differences. So it might say, tell me a time in your life you have felt, or tell me a time in your life you've been confused about the culture and you didn't know how to proceed.
Oh,
So
okay.
you need to write about what happened and how you overcame it.
So how should I answer the question? Should I just talk about my own experience,
Hmm.
or should I try to phrase it in a way that I think they want to hear? Like what should I do?
The most important thing is to be honest. But what they're looking for are people who are flexible, understanding, and hardworking. So if you can phrase phrase it in that way, talk about how you really responded to the situation. If you responded poorly, what did you learn from it? How you could have done better, and how you could have done better, or things like that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wow, those are some good tips.
Mhm.
Is there anything I shouldn't do, I shouldn't say, I shouldn't mention?
Well, just like any job, you shouldn't mention that you want the job just so you can travel, or you want the job just to make some money. You should talk about the more positive aspects of why you want the job, to help people, to teach people about the culture of the USA, to help people learn English. One of the big reasons this program exists is to spread goodwill about the USA. So we are definitely representatives for the US government, for the US people. So we need to show that we can be a responsible, kind, hardworking representative of the USA. So they really want to see that in your application as well.
Okay. Now, as you know, I have Ello. We're doing this for Ello right now.
Hmm.
Should I mention Ello? Should I mention that I do Ello, or should I keep that a secret and not let them know?
I think they would be very happy to hear about Ello because they desperately want more people who know about technology, online learning, internet, and things like that, because the people who apply, a lot of them are like me. We have a master's in TESOL. I don't mean to brag, but we are good teachers. We're passionate, but they desperately need more people that can help teach things like online learning, technical English, how to set up a website in English. Maybe you could teach that. They want people who have experience and knowledge. And if you can show them your website, I think that they would be really happy to see it.
Oh, wow, that's great. Well, thanks for the advice. I'm going
Yeah,
to
you're
apply.
welcome. You can do it.
All right. Wish me luck.
Good luck.
Okay, so you see the dialogue was quite
Yes, ma'am.
big. The people who are speaking, they sometimes when they speak, they overlap, they stop each other, sometimes they also add. This is how actually the natural speaking happens. যখন আমরা দুই তিনজন একসাথে বসে কোনো জিনিস আলোচনা করি, ইটস নট লাইক এ লেকচার যেখানে একজন একা একা সব বলবে আর অন্যরা শুনবে, সেরকম কিন্তু হয় না। কি হয়, হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ একটা কথা শুনে ইউ রিমেম্বার, ওকে আই অলসো নো সামথিং ভেরি ইন্টারেস্টিং অ্যাবাউট দিস, ইউ ইন্টারাপ্ট দ্য conversation and try to add the information you know about, uh, so other people can also understand or hear it from you. Okay, so then there are also pauses. You saw at the end that when he was saying something, the woman, it was like interrupting. She started speaking even before he was even finished. Naturally speaking কিন্তু এরকম, এবং believe me, the most of the studio scripted listening we hear, they are quite easy. It's the natural speaking that is more difficult. But if we also accustom ourselves to listen in natural setting, you will see that how easy the language will become for you. Okay, let's try the quiz. Okay, what should he do first? Start paperwork, write a resume,
Request and application.
request
Request and
and
application.
application. Okay, who should he ask for a reference? Student in his class, someone who is important, someone who saw him teach.
Someone who saw him teach.
Yeah. Okay, he should say he is the best teacher, hardworking, irresponsible.
Should.
Which one will it be?
Hardworking, maybe. Like, not sure.
Okay, should he mention his website?
Yes, he should.
Okay, what should he do according to her? Apply for a job.
Apply
Do not
apply for the job.
For the job.
job or jobs. You see, there's one singular and there is one plural.
Many jobs. C number.
See, okay, let's
He should
check
say he is.
answer. Okay, oh, the first one is start paperwork. The second one is okay, so is the third one. The fourth one is correct as well. Again, this is the singular one. Apply for the job, not what? Jobs. Okay, let's see the grammar they have. Use of should. Do you know what should is? Or to which
Modal
part?
auxiliary.
Model
To which
auxiliary
part?
verb.
Exactly. So we have two types of auxiliary verb, right? One is the primary
Yes.
auxiliary verb, and do you know how many
Otherwise-
primary auxiliary verbs we have? Quite a primary auxiliary verb আছে?
Primary তে আবার
Modal primary তো ধরা বাঁধা নাই।
ধরা
Modal
বাঁধা নাই? No.
Modal
They
বলতে পারবো।
are limits. Okay. Primary auxiliary verb কয়টা?
primary তে আবার ভাগ আছে না ম্যাম, বি ভার্ব, have to verb, আরেকটা হয়েছে
প্রকার
Yes,
ভেদ বলতে হবে
actually, primary auxiliary verb only three. There are only three primary
শুড
auxiliary verbs, but we use many different forms of them. আমরা যখন verb পড়বো তখন আমরা দেখতে পারবো এই জিনিসটা।
ম্যাম
এটা
প্রাইমারি ভার্ব
আমাদের
কি
একটা
বি ভার্ব
কনসেপ্ট
হ্যাভ টু
আছে।
ভার্ব আর কি আছে ডু
হ্যাঁ,
ভার্ব
সবাই। Okay, because in most of the cases আমরা এতগুলো প্রাইমারি অক্সিলারি ফর্ম ইউজ করি যে আমরা মনে করি প্রাইমারি অক্সিলারি ভার্বের সংখ্যা বুঝি অনেক। কে দাগাদাগি করছে স্ক্রিনে? Okay, so but the truth is that there are only three, but they have many forms depending on the tense, depending on the number. Okay, so should is a different one. It is a modal auxiliary. And how we use should? Should
ফিউচার
এর পরে এই modal auxiliary verb গুলো কিন্তু আমাদের কি we use to indicate possibility, certainty, or necessity. Okay, এই ধরনের সিচুয়েশন ইন্ডিকেট করার জন্য কিন্তু আমরা মডাল অক্সিলারি ভার্ব গুলো ব্যবহার করি। শুড ইজ অনলি ওয়ান অফ দেম। ওকে, সো they also have if clause. তোমরা কি এই কথাটা শুনেছো? কন্ডিশনাল সেন্টেন্সেস।
ইয়েস
জি
ম্যাম
ম্যাম ইফ মানে
জি ম্যাম
এই if clause হলো কন্ডিশনাল সেন্টেন্সের আরেকটা নাম। So these are sentences where there are two parts, the condition and the result. Okay, so if the situation is like that, then the result will be like this or that. If clause তোমাদের সিলেবাসে নাই, বাট আমি সেন্টেন্স পড়ানোর সময় একটু বলে দিব, it is still very important. There are actually 4 basic types of conditional sentences. এবং সবচেয়ে মজার বিষয় কি জানো, আমরা সব জিনিস স্টার্ট করি 1 থেকে কাউন্ট করতে না। আমি যদি বলি 4 ধরনের আছে, how do we count? 1 2 3 4, right? But
ম্যাম
for
জিরো
conditional
কন্ডিশনাল
Yes, for conditional sentence, we actually start counting from 0. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, and mixed conditional. Okay, mixed original conditional sentence বলা হয় না, কারণ এখানে দুইটা conditional sentence of quality combine করে করা হয়, like same like complex compound sentence, but basically there are 4. And imperative. Okay, imperative sentence আমরা দেখবো, সমস্যা নাই। Okay, let's check another one. Maybe from advance. This one is not.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's check advanced one. Okay. ও আরেকটা কথা, ক্লাস শেষ হয়ে যাওয়ার পরে কিন্তু চলে যায় না, because it's a 40-minute session. After the session expire, the Zoom will automatically shut down. আমি কিন্তু আবার শুরু করব। Okay, because I am finding 40 minutes too little to teach. আমরা আবার শুরু করব, ওই লিংকে আবার জয়েন করব সাথে সাথে। ওকে,
ওকে ম্যাম
no homework in Norway. This sounds a very interesting topic. Let's try it. So, oh, both the people are from different countries. None of them are Americans. Let's hear this one. Okay, আমরা একটা যেটা কাজ করব যে কুইজটা আগে একটু দেখে নাও। If you can take a screenshot, you can do that. আমি স্ক্রিনটা একটু দেখি ছোট করা যায় কিনা। Okay, so you can have এই যে সবগুলো চলে আসছে। একটা স্ক্রিনশট নিয়ে নাও তো তোমরা কুইকলি, কোশ্চেনটা হাতে
জি
থাকলে
ম্যাম
শোনার সময় সুবিধা হয়। Okay, did you get this one?
ইয়েস
সবার স্ক্রিনশট নেওয়া হয়েছে?
ইয়েস ম্যাম
Okay, let's go back to normal. Okay, now it's listening time. How big is the clip?
So, Giri, can you tell me a little bit more about the lifestyle of school in Norway? For example, I've heard you guys don't have homework, don't have standardized tests. Tell me a little bit more about how school is in Norway.
Yeah, so we don't have a lot of homework. That's true. When I was little, or in grade school, we had homework, um, but not too much.
Hmm.
I think they changed it recently so that they almost have no homework anymore.
Okay.
Also in junior high, I remember that we did have homework, but it was like it didn't really matter if you did it or not.
Yeah.
So it was how I remember grade school and junior high is that it's pretty relaxed.
Hmm. So that's very interesting because I'm sure all around the world, students who go to school have lots of homework. They have lots of classes to take. They're probably in classes for lots of hours in a day.
Mhm.
Um, that's pretty cool. Like, do you think it's working? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I think Norway really wants to focus on that if we have a lot of free time, then we learn better. Like we'll stay motivated instead of like have to go to school and then also having to work with school when you get home. Like
Hmm.
you should Norwegians, I think, mostly agree that you do school at school and then uh, you do other things after, so you
Hmm.
don't have to think about school all the time. Um,
So there's a large emphasis on what you do outside of the classroom.
yeah,
Got it. Okay.
uh, yeah, because I think one of the problems that we have in Norway is like motivation. Maybe because
Hmm.
like we're a more relaxed, or yeah, we're more relaxed when it comes to education.
Hmm.
Other problems show up. So
Yeah.
we have a lot of I, yeah, we have a problem with pupils that can't focus.
Got it.
And we don't have enough teachers as well. So
Hmm.
that's the problem now in Norway that not enough people are getting their or becoming teachers.
Hmm.
And there are so many like students that have other needs than the rest of the students,
Yeah.
and we don't have enough teachers to like follow up on all of them. So that's Norway's focus now, I think,
Got
to
it.
get more teachers and have like I think the goal is to have one teacher for every 5 kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So everyone
Yeah.
gets a lot of
To compare and contrast with Canada, at least in Toronto, in high school there is about one student, or sorry, one teacher per 28
oh wow.
students.
Yeah.
So it's very tough for the teacher to learn all the names, especially in the
Hmm.
first few months. And they have to keep on doing that year after year after year. And
Hmm.
every year, usually it increases. So 28 turns into 30, 30 turns into 33. And so, wow, that's quite intense
Yeah.
to see the differences. But how do you think the students are liking that approach of one teacher and 5 students? Uh, do they like how that style of class is?
I think so, because especially for some students that don't take that don't learn as fast,
Hmm.
they have a teacher that can help them to yeah, and that helps their specific needs.
Hmm.
Because if you only have one teacher and like a big classroom,
Hmm.
then the kids that learn fast, they'll take everything on their own, and then you'll
Yeah,
have like these bunch of kids that are lost. So um, I think people are pretty happy with this, but it's
got it.
not like this is the goal. I think right now we maybe have like a teacher for every 10
Yeah.
pupils or something. Yeah.
So, for example, there's different ways for teachers to grade a student or a certain class.
Hmm.
Of course, there's the pass or fail, very binary. You either pass the class or you fail the
Hmm.
class. There's percentages, so you can do very well or very poor in the class. There's the bell curve, of course, and I think the last one would be, yeah, so portfolio based. So that's based off of different tasks, and the teacher leaves a comment on how you did and ways to improve.
Hmm.
Which ways do you think would be best for students to learn, and how do they do it in Norway?
Well, in Norway, I think they do a combination of all of them,
Hmm.
but we definitely do a lot of the latter, the portfolio based.
Yeah,
So you don't necessarily get a grade, but you get feedback,
yeah.
detailed feedback on how you did and what you need to improve. And I think that's I prefer that method because
Hmm.
it's not as, like, it focuses on the learning, not
Hmm.
on the grade.
Got it.
And I think that's important. but grades are useful as well.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like a competitive
Yep.
student, I think grades are very useful. But yeah, so I think the best way to do it is to have a combination of the different types of
Yeah.
grading systems.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I agree. In Canada, well, at least in Toronto, what they do is they do a mix of both the bell curve and the percentage. And so, usually, depending on how your class performs, for example, if you're in a statistics class filled with 50 students, and the average that everyone gets on a certain test is 40% or 100, and that usually is the case. Because of how difficult the class is, there usually is a bell curve so that they meet a minimum of maybe 60%. So that way, students that got a 70 on it get a 90 in the class. That's some ways that teachers grade university level classes. But of course, in high school, usually you're given a letter grade. For example, A plus is perfect, above 90%, and then A minus, B plus, that kind of stuff, or percentages as well. And so I think they're both very cool to compare and contrast, but I definitely do like how Norway provides comments and detailed feedback. So it's not just, yes, you got that right, and no, you got that wrong. It's, this is what you did very well, and you can perform even better in those areas by following some of these steps. I think that's very beneficial, especially for young students trying to grasp a concept and really master a certain area and find out what they like.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's see who can do it.
let's try the quiz. Okay, in Norway, students have no homework, not a lot, quite a lot homework. Which one
Not
is
a lot.
Not a lot.
not a lot? What do kids in Norway do after school?
Relax and do as they
Relax and
please.
do as they please.
Okay. The big problem in Norway is motivation, money and
Motivation.
funds.
Motivation.
In Norway, the class size is small, large.
She does not say.
Nice
Does
small.
not say.
Small,
In
ma'am.
Canada, small. আচ্ছা সমস্যা নাই. Scoring is up to you. You know which one you think is correct, and we will find out which answers are actually correct. So you can score yourself. Okay, in Canada, teacher salaries are getting.
It
He
does
does
not
not
say.
say.
Does not say.
He does not say. Okay, let's check the answer. Okay, this one is correct. This one is small. So number 4 is incorrect, but we got the rest of the 4 correct. Okay, let's check the vocabulary. What are they talking about? Emphasize. Emphasis, emphasize, binary, and bell curve. And feedback, grasp a concept, master an area. So do you find any of these words completely new and need elaboration? Master an area, that's I think pretty easy to understand. To have proper concept or proper idea about anything, then a grasp a concept. So that means grasp, the grasp is about like getting something, তাই না? কোনো কিছু হাত দিয়ে ধরাকে বলা হয় গ্রাস্প করা। কিন্তু আমরা তো কনসেপ্ট গ্রাস্প করতে পারি না। আইডিয়া কি হাতে ধরতে পারি? খামচে দিয়ে ধরতে পারি?
না।
মুঠো দিয়ে ধরতে পারি? পারি না। So it's just a way of expressing, that means to understand a concept, grasp a concept or to understand it. Feedback, I think we are all familiar with, no need to elaborate. Bell curve. বেল কার্ভ কি? নিচের দিকেরটা মোটা আর উপরের দিকেরটা একটু সরু একটা কার্ভ, that is considered the ideal curve. Okay, like when we actually make bell curve out of your results, usually কি হয়? The number of good students is small. The number of students who are really lacking is also very small, but in between we have the average students. তাহলে কি? So starting from very good students and ending to the student
Average student.
with who needs special care, তাই না? আর মধ্যখানে আছে আমাদের average student of different very grade. এই কার্ভটা যখন তৈরি করা হয় এটাকে আমরা বলি বেল কার্ভ, বিকজ ইট লুকস লাইক এ বেল। এই যে ছবিটা দেখো, চায়ের কাপের পাশে ছবিটা দেখতে পাচ্ছো?
Yes.
জি ম্যাম।
This one, look at this. This looks like a bell, তাই না? ঘন্টার মতো লাগছে না দেখতে? আমাদের যে পিতলের বা কাঁসার ঘন্টাগুলো হয়, উপরের দিকটা গোলাকৃতি আর নিচের দিকে গিয়ে দুই পাশে ছড়িয়ে যায়। So this is called bell curve and this is considered like the ideal kind of curve. Okay. Binary, এটা বোঝানো লাগবে?
না
0
ম্যাম।
and 1, on and off. This is binary. But হ্যাঁ, যখন আমরা অনেক সময় বলি the situation is very binary, that মানে কি? It's either good or bad. মাঝামাঝি কোনো স্ট্যান্ডিং নাই, তাই না? So if it is a yes no on off type situation, we might also consider compare this situation like saying that it's a binary situation, তাই না? And
In
emphasis,
biological word, binary fusion.
okay, হ্যাঁ, আর emphasis কি? To put a lot of কি importance on something,